Malika?
Yes.
What's up, everybody? How are you? This is Bill Forster of Real Talk Chronicles. And today, part 3, I have an exciting show. I have success stories. I have my co-host today with me is Coach Billy, as he's affectionately known. I call him Brother Billy, and everybody else, he's Billy Council. What's up, Brother Bill? How are you?
What's going on, my brother? How you doing? Thank you for having me again today.
Man, everything is beautiful, man. Everything is beautiful. Yes, like I was saying, Billy, we got a success story. We have 3 success stories today that I'm sure you are definitely proud of, that are very close to you in your heart. And I know that is just a beautiful thing. As we talk about the youth and how we have to connect with them, and how with police brutality and so many things going on out here in the world today, they're not role models for them. But that's not the case in your story. Just tell us a little bit about what you do, Billy.
Well, as everybody know, from a business aspect, but, from a social justice perspective, I'm very, big in the community, advocate in the community, been coaching young men in basketball for the last 15, 20 years. I have a nonprofit called the Counsel Him Foundation that, I have several partnerships with NBA, the NBA Players Association. So, I'm just more so being a vessel for our young men to kind of help and guide them to, become, good, successful young men in our community.
Excellent, excellent. So, like I was saying earlier, this is about a success story. These are about 3 young brothers that are doing the damn thing in this community, just in their lives. They're not men that have been incarcerated. They're not in trouble. They are the future of what Black excellence is. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Billy, you want to do the introductions?
All right, so I guess I'm going to start from my top. This young man by the name of Bryce Council, who is, my son. And then we have down at the bottom to my left is, someone who's like a son to me, but he's my nephew actually, and it's Cole Anthony. And then in the middle, I have the general. He's always been the leader of the pack, and the boisterous one is my other nephew, Judah McIntyre. So these 3 young men have been with me since they started playing the game of basketball around the age of 7 and 8 years old. We have been together since then as family. When we talk about the village, on our last show, Bill, about the village, this is my village, right? And,
right.
Their parents is like my brothers and sisters. We have that family dynamic relationship. And, I think it's something that, I think played a big part in their upbringing. So I'm going to let them, introduce themselves and let them tell you what they do, what they're up to now. Just introduce themselves. So we're going to start on the top with young Council. So we can let him go.
Okay.
Yeah, Bryce.
How's everybody doing? For everybody that doesn't know me or didn't hear the introduction, Bryce Council, Billy Council, that's my father up there. I'm a rising senior, finishing my last year of college at Georgian Court University, and I played basketball there. And these are my friends since I was a kid. And I started my own brand called CY Soon Count Yourself In. So that's just a little bit about me.
All right, we're going to get into that clothing line and that brand that you're doing. Go ahead, Cole.
So what's going on, guys? My name is Cole Anthony, and I actually just finished my freshman year at North Carolina, and I'm currently now preparing for the NBA draft. So, Bryce and Judah, we go way back. Those are my best friends. I'm not even gonna say some. Those are my 2 best friends. And the one thing about our friendship is that just with time, it's gotten stronger. So,
Awesome.
We've really gotten closer. The older we've gotten, learn more stuff about each other, and just really learn more ways to uplift each other and build. So
that's awesome. Thank you. And last but not least, I think the general, is that what they call you?
Yeah. I think that name is a little old now, but it works.
Appreciate you guys. First and foremost, appreciate you guys having us on. Definitely appreciate it. But I'm Judah McIntyre. I just finished my freshman year at Hunter College, going to my sophomore year. Studying political science, about to switch my major to marketing, but I guess that doesn't really matter. But just been working, educating myself, staying hungry, staying prepared, staying ready for whatever's next in this next chapter. So.
Let me just tell you something. I looked at your picture. I saw you on the basketball team. I'm alumni of Hunter College too, so let's go Hawks, all right?
Let's go Hawks. Let's do it. Let's go Hawks. Go purple.
Yeah. So we gotta get that out. I mean, that's a Division III, but we did our thing, and that was all love. So, fellas, let me ask you a question. A lot of people always talk about the negatives of young Black kids not having chances and opportunities. With that being said, you guys came together doing basketball. You had an outlet, right? That's how you collectively, the three of you came together to meet. First, I'll start with you, Cole, then I'll go with you, Judah, and then I'll go to you, Bryce. Tell me what basketball did for you in keeping you out of the street. Because I want to know the success story. We know we'll hear the real success story about you, but let us know about how it kept you focused and out of the street. Because I know your parents were involved in your life too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have I'm blessed in a few ways. In the just saying that I have more than two wonderful parents. I have both my step parents too, so I have 4 wonderful human beings who are always looking out for me, always trying to make sure I'm doing the right thing. So I'm gonna start with them. I mean, I never really had to struggle for meals. I've really been blessed my whole life, and I'm just truly thankful to have been in the situation I'm in, which is that with my family, where we're very secure. But I mean, being that, it's really opened my eyes. I mean, I'm just playing basketball. I've seen some of my friends, some people I played with that just are not as blessed as me, and really just didn't have the blessings that I was born with and I really can't control. So, I mean, it's been awesome to get those different perspectives from people and really open my eyes and allowed me to broaden my horizons just by whether it's hanging out with people who are from nowhere near I am. I mean, Judah, I remember when we were younger, I used to hang out with Judas all the time. He was from Canarsie in Brooklyn, so I used to be there a lot. I mean, it's really given me several different perspectives on life, and I'm just it's really allowed me to be thankful for the situation I'm in.
Awesome. Thank you. Judah.
I think definitely for me, basketball is super, super important in building that, confidence and staying away from the streets, or not even just the streets, but just negative things, whether it be staying away from negative things. I mean, Cole, Bryce, Coach Billy will all tell you, from my 3rd grade team all the way up until we stopped playing together, the biggest thing was always family. It was even from our immediate families to the extended family, we always felt like we had, the utmost support. So I never felt like I needed to go to have some other, I don't know what the word is. Find another outlet for that love or that support or whatever
Right.
To use. But definitely basketball was super, super important in building that foundation of family and understanding the importance of team. I'm very, very, very much appreciative of that. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Bryce?
For me, I think the first thing basketball did was help me build a strong relationship with my father. And I think that was a very, very important piece to where I am now. I think on the second hand, just me and the amazing friends I have now, just at a young age, growing up in Harlem, and then on the weekends coming to my friend's house out in the Hamptons, it was 2 different worlds. And it was one thing for me to see, where I wanted to be, and where I grew up. It was 2 different things, and I looked at it, different perspectives, and I learned a lot from both sides. But ultimately, basketball helped me, realize where I wanted to go, and it helped me get to where I'm at right now.
Awesome, fellas. Now, Billy, and fellas, let me just say this. I saw a documentary with the three of y'all when y'all were all little, and I thought it was awesome. I really did. I was very inspired, and I, to see young men so articulate as you all were, to grow into the gentleman that you are today. I mean, we were all together on a unity thing, bike riding. It was just a beautiful thing. But Billy, let me ask you a question. And then fellas, I want you to chime in on this. It takes a village. This is the new village that I see that has grown into be adults. You guys are still family, and you've all shared time with each other's families. Billy, let's talk about that, expound on that, on how did you start to become such a person, integral part of coaching? Like, coaching was your niche, but you had to care about kids to want to coach. Talk about that a little bit, and then we'll go into what the young brothers are thinking.
For me, as like you said, coaching was my niche. It has always been, and not just with this group right here, but it has always been embedded in me to, help our young men, and I guess that was the reason why I say to you and other people in the past that basketball saved my life, right? And it saved my life to the point where it gave me a new perspective on life after, being involved in the streets and after getting gunned down, shot up, you know what I mean? It gave me a different perspective, right? And I wanted to be able to leave a legacy with our young people that, you can change, you can be the difference, right? Mm-hmm. And, people don't realize that with basketball, a lot of these young men that I coach, I needed them just as much as they needed me, right? Mm-hmm. So that, what I mean? That was something that, kept me motivated and kept me wanting to coach and kept me wanting to be a part of their lives, is because, I needed something from them that I didn't know that was actually going to sustain me to where I am at now, right? So, for all the young men that I coach that have been like other sons to me, it's, I'm thankful for that. And I think when we talk about that village, that was that village that we talked about, right? Because, a lot of these kids that, I coach or I was involved with, they didn't have, their parents, both of their parents. They came from broken households, right? So it became my job to make sure that they become successful young men. And I thank them all, and this has probably been this was like my last group that I had, but this group right here, not that it's like they're special more than any other group, where it's just that this was my group that really captivated who I was as a man and who I was as a father and who I was as a coach. And these three, played an intricate part of that for me. So I'm thankful that I had those guys in my life, and to this day now, you know what I mean. That we're always together. And just like more of a father relationship. These are my guys. You know what I mean. They're the big homies, as they would say to me now. You know what I mean. So, yeah, I'm the little brother now. You know what I mean. So, but yeah, that's where we at.
So let me ask you a question. With that being said, fellas, and I'm gonna start with you, Bryce, and then I'm going to you, Judah, and then I'm gonna go to you, Cole. Bryce, I was seeing in the documentary that, and I'm just going to talk about that. I'm sure there's a evolution to that, and your relationship with your father has gotten much better. But your father was spending a lot of time coaching other kids, and I saw in the documentary you were saying how you understood that. But let's talk about the village. Besides your father, who were role models and people that you could go to and talk to, and for advice, even if say you weren't able to talk to your father at a time because you're an excellent young man. And then for Cole and Jude, I want to know, besides your father, was Billy that kind of person that you could go talk to if you couldn't go talk to your parents, or who were people that you could go talk to? So go ahead, Bryce.
I think like I had a lot of different people, but one major person for me was my high school coach. That's one person that my dad, really liked and really vouched for, and somebody I trusted, and somebody I spoke to a lot about issues. And then just even their parents, sometimes I even talk to Judah about situations, and he'll go and talk to his dad and tell me what his dad would say, or Cole with his mom and stepdad, whenever like anybody who is important in my life, you know, I would be able to talk to. I think I had a lot of love, you know, just growing up. But if I had to name one person, Jerome Pennell, my high school coach, was very, very important in me maturing and growing up. Besides my father.
Understood. Let me ask you a question. Do you have excellent relationships with your friends' parents too?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Good.
I talk to them a lot about, you know, just regular life. We just have conversations, and I can talk to them like without these two even being there. You
And
know,
that's a beautiful thing. And that's a village. That's a real beautiful thing. Because I remember when I was growing up, there were just some people that I could talk to my father about, and there are some people that have made me the conscious man that I am. Not that my father didn't capitalize on certain things, but my father wasn't in the sports. My father was a pretty boy. He taught me how to get girls. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he taught me how to get that thing if somebody was coming after me or something. You know what I'm saying? But if you're talking about playing basketball or football or anything, I mean, he taught me how to handle my hands a little bit. But it was his boys that taught me, you know, a lot about the street game. And when I say street game, just being knowledgeable of the street, because it's not so much perpetuating a street mentality, but to be a village, sometimes you have to know the good and the bad of everything. With that being said, Judah, what was Billy to you? Was he somebody that you could converse with besides your parents, or who were other people that you could talk to help you mature into the man that you are to this day?
I mean, for me personally, I've been blessed enough to have like my dad has been like super influential in my life. It's like always been like there. But in terms of Coach Billy, I remember when I was younger. I mean, I was always like afraid, like super like afraid at first of like Billy, and like his methods were always like I don't know what the word is for it. But I was always afraid of like his methods, the yelling and him yoking me up and all that stuff. I wasn't really used to getting that. But you know, as I got older, I realized the importance, you know, of what he was saying, and even though, you know, the method, I wasn't agreeing with the method at the time, how important he was and how much he cared. I think that was ultimately what I've come to realize, like how much you know, Coach Billy cared about us, as he said, cared about me. I always felt like, you know, I could go, you know, talk to him about anything if I ever needed to. But he also, like, he you know, he taught us, along with some of the other, you know, parents that were around us, and even to this day, you know, they taught us so much. Like, you know, there's knowledge that we picked up that we didn't even realize that we were picking up, that we got from. I mean, I think about my sense of style, which is very important to me. Coach Billy, it might seem like a little thing, but Coach Billy is the reason why I kind of started really, you know, learning how to put things together, dressing. And that might be a little small thing, but it's just little things like that. You know, just like all the parents that were around us definitely were there and helped.
He's hyped about that.
Huh?
That dressing thing, right? He's hyped about that. He's hyped.
I made his night.
Let me ask you a question. Who else besides the coach, Coach Billy, was instrumental in your life?
I mean, shout out Miss Crystal. She Cole's mom, and Ray, Mr. McGuire. They've definitely, you know, been super helpful, influential, in every aspect of my life. You know, from elementary to middle school to high school, and even now that I'm in college and going forward. You know, anytime I've ever needed help, anytime I've ever needed advice on anything, they've always been there, supporting, showing love, making sure, you know, we're changing the narrative, which is something I think, you know, Coach Billy, my parents, Cole's parents, have always just been trying to get us to do, just change that narrative of black men, young black men,
Yes.
and trying to just do something beyond what America, I don't know, puts on us. Or let me not say America, what, you know, stigmatizes black men.
And I'm going to get into that later too with you guys about what is a black man to you and stuff like that. But before I go to you, Cole, I just want to read, you know, if you ever guys get a chance to go back, Billy, I'll tell you, you know, I always tell people to go back and read some of the comments. And so when I look down, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just reading the comments and people are saying hi and hello. Robin Davis chimes in. She says, when adults become partners with youth rather than friends, the level of respect remains intact and the relationship can grow. And that's a beautiful thing, because right now what we see is a good relationship between Bryce and his father, but we also see about how young men view Billy. Cole, what about you, my brother?
Wait, Bill, can you
Go ahead.
turn, because we hearing the feed?
Somebody whose feedback is that? You want me to mute some? Well, when people are not talking, how about this, fellas? When somebody's not talking, just mute yourself because I don't know who it is, and I mean I can mute everybody at the time.
Okay.
Let me see. So yeah, okay, that's cool. So whoever's not talking, just mute, and then when you're talking, just so Cole, I'm coming to you right now. Who was Billy somebody you could come to and converse with, or if he wasn't, who just talk about individuals in your life, ladies, men, whomever that you can talk to or can still talk to this day. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I mean, well, I just remember from a young age, back when I was a little bit of a knucklehead, back when I was a little younger. I remember I just have a few select memories of Billy just coming to my house, excuse me, like just, and him just like really just being one of those first people to really like sit down, just talk to me, and just like tell me like, yo, Cole, chill up. Just really like he would come. I remember on a few occasions he would like come to the crib and really just like we would just talk, and he would just really just help calm me down, just keep me level headed. I mean, but besides Billy, who, I mean, it's my uncle right there. I mean, it's one of my best friends right there. I have really pretty much all of my old coaches I got from my guy Carl Ben, Steve Harris. But a big one for me, especially in high school, was my AAU coach Munch. Name's Terrence Williams. Nickname is Munch. It's just been someone, I mean, to this day, who we talk at least a few times a week. It's just really been influential for me. I mean, just really pretty much taken what Billy's done and just built off of that. Just kept me level-headed, always kept my confidence high, and just really helped make me into the man I am today. I mean, besides him, obviously, I got my parents. I mean, all of our parents have just really been people that we've been able to talk to and really just helped us become the young men that we are today and just helped us grow and are going to help us continue to grow. Just especially knowing them, they're not going to get off us for a while.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Let me ask you all a question, and I'll start with you, Cole, and I'll go with you, Judah, and then I'll go with you, Bryce. Tell me how women role models were in your life. I mean, if it's your mother or aunt, grandmother, whomever, just talk about how ladies were instrumental in your life.
Sheesh. Well, I mean, I got my mom. That's to me, that is the most powerful Black woman I know, the most influential woman in my life. And it's just been really my rock. It's been my everything. This has been there with me every single step of the way. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's been there for every single one of my friends. Every single person I had love for, she showed love for too. And it's just continuously showed love. So, I mean, she's the realest out. That's my mom. I love her to death.
That's beautiful, man. I'm glad to hear that because a lot of times people think that we can't love our Black women or we don't know how to treat them and respect our Black women. And we'll come back around that for you guys to tell me how women and men have taught you how to respect women of color or just women, periodly. Judah?
Well, I have my great grandmother is still alive. She came from Jamaica by herself. On both sides, my grandmothers are alive. They came from foreign countries, whether it be Britain or Jamaica, by themselves. And obviously my mother and Miss Crystal and stuff. But specifically my immediate family, I've always had a very, very good image, a very, very, like a very important image of the Black woman. They've always been super. Sorry, I cut out for a second. Stop calling me, bro. Hello?
Keep going.
Sorry, somebody just called me. But I've always had a strong image of Black women in my life because my mom, both my grandparents and my great-grand, they've always set such a high standard for how they should be treated, how they should be respected. And not only that, more importantly, they've I don't know, just watching how they're so independent yet so caring and so supportive and always willing to help and look out. It's just given me just so much more appreciation for women in general, but specifically black women. Yeah.
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Bryce?
For me, definitely my mom too. She was what I needed, especially a lot of times when my dad would yell at me and, when he'd get on me a lot and I was, you need somebody, baby you a little bit, tell you it's going to be all right, just give you a little bit of confidence, but my mom, she was always there. I seen how hard she's worked and the things she's overcame and like things she's done. And my grandmother, she's Dad, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's a lot. She survived breast cancer and cancer in general a lot of times. So I get my, just my strength from her. I see like everything she had to go through, and I just look at that like I have no excuse. So my grandmother, my great grandmother, she's the gangster of the family. So I get, a little bit of toughness from her. My aunts, and then obviously Miss Crystal. She's been very, very influential in my life. Has like taught me a lot and showed me a lot, and I think that's the biggest thing. She's just like showed me a whole different world. So I appreciate her for that, and it's a lot of women, who've helped me get to where I'm at.
So now, Billy, let me ask you a question.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Carl. Yeah, this is Bill Talk, baby.
I have to give a big shout out to my grandmother, who is currently my only grandmother that I really had like growing up. She's 94 years old, and it's really been one of the also too. There's been that other influential woman in my life.
You're coming in a little low.
How to give a shout out?
Yeah, got you. That's beautiful. Yeah, shout out to your great grandmother or your grandmother.
That is my grandmother, or great grandmother.
Oh, awesome, man. That's a beautiful thing, and that's blessed to have that. I wasn't blessed to have a great grandmother. I remember my grandmother on my father's side. That was the only one. All my other grandparents passed away when I was younger, and I always think about the people that I still call to this day Mr. and Mrs., who have taken on those roles. And like friends, they're my best friends of over, I'm 55 now, and my best friends over 40 some years, their parents are my mother's, and I call them mom. But Billy, I was listening to what Bryce was saying, and I know you talked about the fact that you and his mother wasn't together. I know we talked about that, but please elaborate how two mature individuals were able to not cohabitate, but to exist on raising a child. Please elaborate on that for me.
Well, Bill, we talk about this all the time, and there's no like sugarcoating things, when it comes down to our conversations. Her and I, when Bryce was growing up, we didn't have the best relationship. We were like oil and vinegar. We didn't get along. We didn't know how to speak to one another. We didn't know how to address one another. And, that was one of the things that as a man, I take responsibility for, right? Because, no matter how you do things as a man, you're supposed to lead, right? And I wasn't a great leader because I wasn't mature enough to lead. So so I can sit there and say, I know that area that I fell short in, right? And, one of the things that I could say, about his mother was she was always willing to work things out conversation wise, but I wasn't the one to be mature enough to do that, and we, there was times where, we didn't even, like Bryce, was like a pawn, like we was like tug of war, right? I'm pulling on one side, she's pulling on the other side, and we just couldn't gel at all, and it didn't take it took me probably when Bryce got to high school, when her and I developed a really, really good co-parenting relationship, and now I would say I have the most respect and love for her. I think she's a wonderful mother, a wonderful woman. She's strong, she's determined, and she raised a great young man, and I didn't do that by myself, and I wouldn't take the credit for that at all. One of the things that I would say, I thank her for, allowing me the opportunity to continue to stay in his life at that point, because I was truly sometimes an asshole to her. And, and every day sometimes when I do speak to her, I tell her how thankful I am, that she was able to, raise him and do the things that she was able to do with him, because with him and I, and it's weird, basketball was the same sport that brought us together, but it was also the same sport that tore us apart. because like on our last conversation, Bill, when we were just talking about our black men,
Yes.
you know, I was always his coach, right? I never knew how to be his father because I was coaching him through everything, right? I was coaching him the way he brushed his teeth, the way he dressed, the way he, you know, wash up, the way he, you know, play ball, the way he didn't do this, the way he didn't do that. And until that point where, you know, he had to go to his mother and was like, yo, I don't want to deal with my dad. I don't want to deal with him. You know what I mean? And she had to come to me and tell me, like, Bill, just be his father. And that was, I think that was the one of the most important pivotal times in my life when it came down to dealing with her, when she gave me that respect and was like, nah, you need to be his father, not be his coach. So, you know, I think it's important for that.
And Bryce, I want to ask you a question, Bryce. But first, I want to read a comment from somebody who's like she has that mother love, but she's like a big sister, aunt. She holds a lot of titles in my life. She's a very important person, Pat. I see what you're saying, and I want to tell you. She says these young men had the love and direction of family, a coach that made time for them. You are very blessed and fortunate, so continue to keep a positive mindset. God bless you all. So that was a beautiful thing. Thank you, Pat, for chiming in and saying that, and I respect you, you know, wholeheartedly. Bryce, let me ask you a question. Coming from two parents that weren't together at that time, hearing what your father just said, what are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, I contributed to it a lot. You know, I was a pretty smart kid. I knew what was going on. So if one parent said no, I was going to the other parent. I knew one of them had to say yes. I was going to get what I wanted in some type of way. We was going to make it work. So honestly, you know, just being a young kid, you know, I would just, you know, play a little bit of both sides. You know, if I'm having a little more fun at this house one day, I'm going to tell my mom what my dad said last week, start a little something up so I can stay longer. You know, it was also, it was always, you know, me, you know, being a young kid and not as mature. But in terms of the basketball situation, as my dad said, he was right. At a young age, you know, I didn't want to be coached by my dad. But then I saw a lot of these other kids starting to get coached by my dad. And, like, I saw how much fun they were having, how much they were winning. And I felt like I never really got to enjoy that because he, you know, like I pushed him away in terms. So it was some aspects when I started growing up, I used to have to like yell at him, like tell him like, yo, I want to work out. Or I want to do this. Cause it was one point where he completely like forgot, like it was like, forget basketball. Like I'm going to just be a dad. So I think once that started happening, I started to actually feel some type of way about, you know, everybody else who was getting all the attention and not me in terms of basketball. But honestly, I think it worked out. You know, he comes to as many games as he can, and it worked out. You know, I think we got a balance of both, and I think it took some maturing from both parties, from myself and my father.
I know Uncle Ivo had to chime in the other time because you was late coming to the park with the bike. He was hot.
Yeah, you know, sometimes he still be thinking he the coach. He be yelling at me, you know, without, you know.
Yo, that's a beautiful thing. Yo,
yeah.
Judah, I'm gonna go to you. Let me ask you a question. I saw the documentary of your father and how beautiful he's was in your life too. But was he a basketball man? Or was it just what was your relationship like with your father? And then I'm coming to you, Cole.
So my dad, he was born and raised in Jamaica, came here when he was 14, and kind of just was figuring everything out like on his own. Like he was raised by his mom, well, his mom by herself. So he was a soccer guy. Like he picked up basketball because I started to love it, and he kind of he told me, you know, since I'm taking it and I'm running with it, he's gonna go, and I have his full support. But you know, our relationship got stronger through basketball. Like he was always there. People always assume that because he was always on the bench that I was only playing because, you know, my dad was on the bench. But my dad, you know, he wouldn't necessarily be super hard on me, you know, to the public or, you know, at the game. But when we get home, I'll definitely, you know, hear from him. But he was
Jamaican love.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But me and my dad, he's great. Yeah, he's definitely my top role model. And he always says, be better than I am, be better than I am, be better than I am. I mean, I think it's gonna be, really hard to do eventually, but that's definitely me and him have a great relationship, and it only got stronger through basketball. So I'm very very grateful for that.
I'm glad to hear that. I just give you a story. My father, he was a breadwinner, and of course, a lot of times when men, back then in the days, civil servants or workers, they are working hard, and the men, we're spending a lot of times with my mother. But I always talk about my relationship with my father when there was a time when him and my mother got into it, and seemed like he wanted to put hands on her, which he was going to, and I intervened, and in my intervention, he thought I was trying to get out his way, and I really was trying to stand up to him, and he stopped. He realized that I was in his way, and he was like, "Yo, get out the way." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna let you hit my mother." And I say that this is all how Real Talk started, me being transparent and talking about my feelings and emotions and things that have happened to me along my life. And, I come from my family being together. Doesn't mean that always all families together don't mean everybody's happy. But, eventually they stayed together and things got beautiful. With all that being said, though, I never forget when my father, he realized, he was like, oh, you think you tough, right? And I was 16 years old. And he went to the back. And you remember I told you earlier in the podcast that he taught me how to go get that thing. So he went and got that thing on me. And and my mother was like, "Oh shit, run!" So I said, "Run? Wait a minute, I'm here trying to protect you, and you talking about running." So he came back. I said, "Oh shit! Like what did I get myself into, right?" And then my father said, "Yo, let me tell you something." And I'm sure you guys have heard about these characters, but we watched them. Billy and I have watched them. My father said, "Yo, man, I don't give a damn how many Shaft movies you watching here, boy. Don't you ever step to me like that." You know what I'm saying? But our relationship changed, and we became friends, and that was a beautiful thing because my father instilled the fear of God in me, because if I stepped out of line, he definitely put them hands on me, which is a whole different generation right now. Going lead segue into you, Cole. You had an NBA father, but talk about your relationship with your father, your stepfather, whomever. Let's talk about that. I mean, go ahead, brother, chime in.
Yeah, I mean, it's been unique for me because I've had two really important father figures in my life, being my stepdad.
We're losing you, Pop.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Can't
We're
hear
losing you.
you.
Oh, I'm off mute. Y'all hear me?
Okay, there you
We
go.
got you now.
Yeah.
Well, it's been unique for me being that I've had two father figures in my life. One being my dad, Greg Anthony, and my stepfather, Raymond McGuire. So just had those two unique perspectives. I mean, you have my dad, who is a big basketball head, still works with the NBA today. And then you have my stepdad, Ray, who works in banking. I mean, he's works with Citibank. So just having those two unique perspectives, but at the end of the day, two people who really have just wanted me to succeed in every single way possible. I mean, my dad, who's helped me with this journey so far. I mean, I remember I told him, I think it was, I don't remember how old I was when, like, that moment, like, he didn't ever force me to play basketball or anything. That moment when I told him I wanted to play basketball, he was all in, just helped me from that day and just set me off on the right path. And it's just one thing he's always told me is that he wants me to be better than him. He's always told me that I just love the game more than him. And so that at one, I have my dad for that. And then my stepdad, Ray, who I've lived with my mom since, I believe, 5th grade. So, I mean, just another man who really is really a great guy, wants to see me, but not just me, everyone around me succeed. So whether that's helping me out, helping Bryce, Judah, Joe, just helping any of us out, he's just always been there every step of the way. I mean, he just helped me get my first car. I mean, that's really that's my guy right there. One of my best friends. I have nothing but love for him. I have nothing but love for my father. So, I mean,
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think, what's so funny, what I get to hear, and Billy, you could just chime in real quick. We hear a lot of love and respect for men. And I think a lot of times people think that's gone in Black families. Sometimes it is, and we who are we to say that it's here? We can't argue with statistics. But the beautiful thing about this show today is about positivity. This is Real Talk Chronicles, everybody. If you like it, share it. This is mentoring the youth part 3. But right now we have 3 gentlemen right now that are going to pick up the slack for brothers like Billy and myself when we transition and we pass the baton to these young men, because they are the future. They are it right now. And I am so glad and blessed to honor to speak to you guys, because I'm sure as you may learn from me, I will learn from you. But Billy, let's matter of fact, let me just chime in on what some people are saying, and I want to share this. Yvette Hayward, she says, I love this. These young men are blessed to have such positive people in their lives to guide them through life. Billy Council, you are doing an excellent job. Robin Davis, this story is such a common thread in our community. It is so difficult for us to distinguish our role as parents, separate from our role as lovers. Letting the intimate relationship control our role as parents allows for children becoming pawns, negatively name calling our children when we are angry and forgetting to listen. Excuse me, fellas, I ain't got my glasses on. I'm trying to act like I'm fucking young and shit. Calling our children when we are angry and forgetting to listen to our children because we hurt. Hard to work through, but possible. Yes, definitely. Pat, Bill, your parents, like many parents, made it through the good and the bad. This is how it was in those days. Absolutely. These stories are so inspiring. Yvette Hayward again. These stories are so inspiring. They are the future. Yes, you gentlemen are. I applaud you. I say that unequivocally. I say that with love and compassion, because, like I always say, I was raised by a village. I was taught by men that, even men in the street, that knew me and knew that in their mind that I was a good kid. You know, they was like, yo, you keep going to school, you keep doing that, you know, whatever. And there was a time, you know, Billy can, you know, we can talk about this. Billy can talk about certain situations in his life that, you know, when I embarked on going left, as I'll so eloquently put it, that I had somebody kind of like check me hard and say, yo, man, don't do that. You ain't built like that. Even if I was built like that, he was letting me know I wasn't built for the life that he was talking about. And Billy, you know, you talked about that a lot, being shot. You understand what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't understand. Not that, you know, whatever situation you was doing and where you were going in your life, just expound on, you know, what took you to a whole nother place as a mentor, as a father, as a person that may have dove too far in a certain lifestyle. Please elaborate on that if you can.
You know, it's something that's, people say is common in our community, right? Violence, drugs, broken homes. It's something that, you know, a lot of us have grown up and we have seen, right? You know, especially you and I, Bill, and our time growing up. But I just think, you know, for me, it was just like, you know, it was a blessing for God, right? Because I think what God does, he put us in situations and he say, I'm going to pull you out of this situation. But when I pull you out of this situation, you have to do X, Y, and Z, right? So when he pulled me out of that situation, I was determined to follow his protocol. I was determined to follow what he wanted me to do, right? And I didn't know what that was, right? And, you know, as anybody growing up in our community at that time, Bill, it was more so you wanted to become successful in your own right? So I just think for me, you know, it came through the spirit of basketball. It came through that, right? So I just think that was important for me to find a vessel, and, you know, once I get on that vessel, to take as many as people with me, you know, and that's what I've focused on doing.
I think that's an awesome story, and I just think, you know, when we talk about basketball, I mean, like I'll tell all you fellas, the year I graduated from high school, it was the year to guard. The year I graduated, Kenny Smith out of Malloy, Mark Jackson out of Bishop Loughlin, Olin Polynice graduated with me, Pearl Washington, you know, Kenny Hutchison, you know, Boo Harvey. Like I graduated the year that damn everybody went to the pros. So you know where I was on the bench with that towel on that commercial. I always think about that commercial with that dude with the towel. But you know what's so funny? In the street, I was giving cats the business, and then I went to Hunter and I was giving them some love. So that's what I'm saying, Judah. I'm with you on that. You understand what I'm saying? But let me ask y'all a question and on a note, and I'll start with you, Judah, and then I'll go to Cole, and I'll go to you, Bryce. Tell me what's the definition in your mind. What is a black man to you?
Oh, that is a loaded question.
It is.
Definitely a loaded
Wherever you
question.
want to go, brother. You can take it wherever you want to go.
I mean, Bryce and Cole probably know me. I could talk a lot. Anyway, I think a black man to me, definitely the word that comes out to me is like indestructible and warrior. I think the black woman is ultimately the strongest human, I think, in our culture, in our present day, whatever you want to call it. But then it's the black man. I personally believe we built this country. We've gone through, obviously going way, way back, obviously slavery, Reconstruction, civil rights, and all that stuff, Jim Crow era. Moving to this day and age, it's the simple thing as, walking into a store and all the eyes are on you, or, having to I don't know, you go into the park and having to make sure you don't look a certain way, or you're walking down the block in the city and you see, two ladies coming at you and they cross the street because, you're coming in their direction. It's like little things like that, I think, defines a black man, unfortunately, in America, and not even America, in our world right now. But yeah, I think going back to with that being said, I think we've overcome. I think we always overcome. I think sometimes we allow, as a culture, we allow the narrative that is set to overrule and take over our communities, which is something I think we want to change. I know. Well, I know we want to change as a group, but I think definitely the black man is somebody who's indestructible, a warrior, somebody is super, super strong, and can't be beat. Overcoming them odds at all times, making something out of nothing.
I appreciate that answer, Bryce.
For me, I think a black man is just man, just time too. A man that has to work extra hard. That a man that just has to continue to grind. Like nothing is handed, nothing is given. And I think like kind of how Judah said, in society, just how you're looked at, you have to always come correct, I think, and whatever you're doing. So we have between four of us with Joe, we have conversations like this all the time in terms of just like black business. You don't have time to not come correct. Like you have to come correct. Like you can't really afford to mess up, because people are looking at you like you're not supposed to be there. And that's kind of in any field besides honestly sports, people, society is kind of looking at us like we're not supposed to be there. Walk into a corporate office, it's like if I'm coming for a meeting, I have to have all my ducks in a row. Like I have to have everything correct of what I want to do and where I want to go, because if not, the first mistake or first chance you give them, you're out of there. So I think it's just somebody who has to work extra hard, come correct, and just always have to overcome something. Like it's nothing, like I said again, besides sports, like nothing is going to be given, nothing is going to be handed, or nothing is going to be looked at like, oh, you're supposed to do that. Everything is coming correct and working extra hard and harder than the next person.
Cole, what's your thought?
For me, I on agreeing with Judah is that the black man, besides the black woman, is the most powerful, one of the most powerful beings in the world. And just it's just, I think a black man is a representation of power, and I think we just honestly strike fear into people who are not us. I think that's like a big thing, is that people are scared of our potential and what we can do with it if we are ever being in the same scenario as them. Like if we were to be on equal terms with that of let's say a white man, it wouldn't be fair. I think the only way that I think that people are really like not just white people. I think people are just scared to put us in a position of power like that because they're scared of what we can do.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Thank you. Yo, brother Billy, what do you think? What's your definition, man? You know, you the co-host, so I need your input too, man. What's your definition of a good, positive black man, brother?
Well, these young brothers, man, I look at them and I say that's the definition of a black man, right? They all in their own way have their own unique style and they have their own unique thoughts, but, one of the things that I will say about a black man is their power to execute and their power to be determined and their ability to see past what people think of them, and I look at these three young men and I say they are what I call young, strong black men. You're right. And I think they will continue to prosper. I think they will continue to elevate our culture. I think they will be young men that, the younger generation behind them can look up to, so I look at these three young men as incredible young black men.
I think that's a beautiful segue into what I wanted to, my next question. I wanted to give her first and foremost, this is Real Talk Chronicles. If you like it, share it. This is one thing. There's a lot of podcasts out here, but they ain't gonna keep it realer than me. And that's just the authenticity that I try to bring to the table. Let me tell you something. I've always learned that positivity is the hardest thing to sell. And I've been one of the top promoters. Billy knows this. We've both been doing this game a long time. Thousands of people, every 6 weeks, thousands and thousands of people. But the hardest thing to share some knowledge and wealth and intellect. And right now, we're at times right now where knowledge is key. I say all that to say that Candy Brown, she said, interesting comment. I feel like that puts such a stressor on a black man's mental. I don't know what topic you're talking about, but I know it ain't about asking black men about, what's their opinion of a black man, because they should know that because they are the successors to what's coming up. Paula said, it's a wonderful feeling just listening to these young men speak. I'm just so excited for them and their future. They are prime examples of what the village can do. Praying for your strength and thanks. Praying for your strength and thanks for Real Talk Chronicles and its panelists. Yeah, this is powerful. Sharon Saunders, thank you. This is powerful, Billy. The definition of a black man. Paula has said that about you. Fellas, let me ask you a question, and I'm gonna start with you, Cole, and I will work to Judah, then I'm going to Bryce. We talked in the park that time, and I was kind of giving you a brief synopsis of what I was saying that, I've taken on this mentoring program. I've taken on trying to be a part of a village. I've tried to take on the role of keeping our youth, because we hear the statistics. We hear what the news wants to let us know about our people of color, good, bad, or indifferent. We understand where things are just happening, right? But as Billy and I pass the baton to you in a certain way, what are things that you will do along your life in mentoring the youth? What would be some things that you would tell the youth to do to stay on a path like yourself, not just basketball, but anything positive for you guys? Like, what would you, Bryce, Judah, tell a young man? Because you will be in a position, and I will extend this, and Billy knows this, and I will extend this. If you ever call on me to be there and speak to youth and how to interact with law enforcement, or anything in that magnitude, teaching martial arts, whatever I can do to help, because right now I'm at that point where they're gonna always give me my OG and uncle status, but there's a disconnect. Bryce, you and I talked about that. There's a disconnect right now because they don't see me. They're gonna be like, oh, he OG and shit, he ain't doing what I do, you know what I'm saying? But they see you, you know what I'm saying? And you're a future lottery draft pick, and you're visible. Bryce is visible with his stuff. Judah, you're visible. So I'm just elaborating on that. Just give me some insight on what do you think you'll be doing in helping the youth behind you?
Well, one thing I know, me, Bryce, and Judah talk about this a lot, is just giving back to the community, and that's something that we've already started doing. Whether it's just with, I know me personally, I've done some stuff I've done fundraising. I've just done public, like I've done a public Q&A just with doctors and stuff. Just any way that I can give back to the community, just anywhere in New York, or just, and not even solely in New York, but I'd love to start here, is just to really try to preach to the young children out there. I mean, being is that we are public figures, we're people who are closer to their age than y'all OGs, the uncles. So it's just being like that we can I think it's just more of the fact that we can relate to them just because we're in similar positions and can't. So just really preaching to them that it's important to, I mean, as we said earlier, as a Black man, to really support other Black men.
I appreciate. Go ahead. No, please go ahead. Keep going if you have some more. Go ahead.
Oh no, that was me. I was gonna just continue.
Okay, go ahead, Judah.
I think moving forward, I think, you know, education, not just like strictly from, you know, like a school's the K through 12 standpoint, but just educating, you know, the next generation to let them know that it's on them, it's on us to, you know, to change the narrative. I keep using that, but like to allow them to understand, you know, education, whether that means you're educating yourself through like reading, whether it means you're looking online, but just gaining knowledge for yourself, on yourself, so just specifically for, you know, Black and brown young girls and men, young girls and boys. I just think education is the best way possible to get through to them, especially having it come from somebody, you know, having it come from people our age. It obviously sounds different coming from, you know, you or Coach Billy. You know, get your head in the books, or like, you know, make sure you guys are, you know, reading, things like that. I think education is just like the top. That would be my, I don't know, to the next generation.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bryce?
So all three of us, like we talk about it a lot. You know, I say it like almost like, you know, every day about like the different things. We all talk about just the different things we want to do to help the people behind us, help the communities, you know, just give back, all that stuff. So it's a lot of ideas we have that we're going to definitely put down and put together. But I think most importantly for me right now is just showing the youth and the people in my community where I grew up in Harlem, you know, a different way. Like, for example, Cole, my best friend, one of my best friends, he's a guy who his path was North Carolina, NBA, he's going to the NBA. So that's what a lot of people look up to. But it's somebody like, for example, his stepfather who went to Harvard and is in banking, but is a very influential person in our community that people won't even know, you know? But they'll know Cole, he hasn't even got to the NBA yet or gotten drafted, you know? And it's just, I think it's about perspective and nothing like, you know, some people are going to go to the NBA, but then it's a bigger chance of people who are not going to go to the NBA. So now it's like, what do I do? And I think I want to be that person. Me and Judah have talked about this, that person to just show people a different way like that. Me personally, that wasn't my path. Division I wasn't my path, but I did get a free education and get to play basketball. So I just kind of want to show people, you know, a different way that it's okay. So ultimately, I think my first step is building something in my community, that like owning something in my community. That's my first step, and that's something that I plan on doing really soon, just to show people that, it's important, and you can still be somebody or be that guy without being that guy who's going to the NBA or being. And I think like LeBron James and his friends are doing a great job of that and showing different pieces to the puzzle that are just as big as that guy. So I think that, and that's what's really good about our friend group, is that just roles and positions, and we all value each other and how important we all are and the different things that we all bring to the table. And I think that's another thing that we need to get better at, coming together, you know, as like the Black community in general, like as Black people, as a Black group, like our group, like the thing we always say to each other, like we're not in competition with each other at all. Like, one person's doing something, like it's big ups. Like I'm supporting that, like it's mine. Like, you get what I'm saying? So and I think that's what's really good about our friend group, is no type of competition at all.
That's what's beautiful. Brother Billy, what do you think, man? I want you to chime in and give your thoughts on some stuff. What do you think?
You know, I think they all said it. You know, they all, you know, took a piece, you know, of the pie, you know, and I think it's important. I think, you know, they get it, right? You know, I just think what we just got to continue to do to just to piggyback a little bit off of Bryce, you know, we have to come together collectively, right? And we have to, you know, build our communities up and, you know, build ourselves up. You know, I think that's something that's extremely important that, you know, we sometimes as African Americans, we take for granted. You know, the our network. Our network is, you know, is our network. You know what I mean? If, you know, if we do it right. So I just think it's just a bunch of avenues that we can just go through and, you know, try to figure it all out.
Yeah, Billy, what do you think you and I can still do to reach back? Or, I mean, because we're going to need Bryce, Cole, Judah to help us stay out there and, you know, and continue to fight of positivity and knowledge. What do you think you and I can continue to do, or what should we do now?
I think one of the things that's important, we got to continue to listen, and we got to continue to let them educate us also, right? Because we're at a point in our lives where we may feel that we don't have to listen, but we still have to listen to understand what they need, what they want, right? Because a lot of times what our young men want to do, they want to be heard. They, you know, they're very creative, right? And they got creative ideas, they got creative thoughts, and, you know, it's just like anything else. You know, you got to nurture it and let it grow. And I think we got to continue to do our part by nurturing it, by being mentors, by being, you know, by being men and showing up, right? Showing up to listen and not showing up to badger all the time. Sometimes get them the support of, you know, just listen to what they got to say, because I think that's important, you know, and the final piece to it, I think is important, is to lead by example, right? We have to lead by example on every aspect of our lives if we want their respect.
Okay, definitely. Yo, Cole, I saw you with the hair. I used to be able to do that once upon a time, but it's all good right now. Me and Billy, we shaving our shit off. Bryce, I remember you told him in the park, cut it off, but it's all good. But I just want to read some stuff that people said, also Pat, Big Pat. She says, I pray that you are seen not for the color of your skin, but for who you are. It's disturbing to me as a white person, Pat, but I don't see you as a white person. You are beautiful. You are aces to me. You've always been there. You've been you have embraced me as somebody in your family, and I love you and I respect you for that. And I just wanted to say that to you. Sharon Saunders, if you could give, and I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to let this question, and I'll just let you all chime in. If you could give parents advice about how to raise a successful Black male, what advice would you give? Bryce, Judah, and Cole. Go, Bryce.
For me, I think the first thing is not always comparing it to when y'all were younger. Because no offense, y'all a little old. You feel me? Society has evolved. A lot of things have changed, yeah. And I think that's gonna build something like this. I think just, you know, trying to adapt and trying to find a middle ground between certain things. Like it's no way you can tell a kid like, never be on your phone, never do this or never do that. Like they see, like it's all they see. So it's like learning how to maybe 1 hour here, 1 hour there, stuff like that. So I think, but I think the main thing is, you know, just experience and trying to have your kids around as many things as possible. Like who knew going to a basketball gym, I meet these two kids I've been friends with and my brothers for life. Like who would know? So I think just experience, you know, them showing them different things, and then also trying to put them in the best schools as possible. I think that's another important thing. But just teaching them and learning and, you know, sticking with them, knowing, letting them know how important they are, so that they know how to value themselves. I think that's another important thing.
Awesome. Judah, what do you think, brother?
I 100% agree with Bryce. Building off that, just, you know, support, unconditional support. Like nobody, as a Black man, we're already like outcasted by a lot of other people. So to come home and feel like we, you know, can't, you know, vent or be ourselves or express ourselves in our own homes. That I mean, I've never had to deal with that, but that I don't know, that is giving me trauma just thinking about it. But just definitely unconditional support, love, And parents, I mean, parents always know, realistically. Like, parents know before we know. But sometimes I feel like, I mean, I'm not a parent, but sometimes I feel like, oh, why is that? Sorry. But sometimes I feel like as a, you gotta let your child or your son make mistakes for themselves. And, you know, you pray for the best and you hope, you know, that you raise them well enough to make the right decision. But sometimes your words are not going to be enough. And you got to let them experience, like Bryce said, experience things for themselves, but always let them know that they have your 110% support.
Awesome. Cole,
Yeah.
what do you think, bro?
Yeah. Building off of what Judah said, I mean, it's a give and take relationship. You gotta, at the end of the day, that child is gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. All you can do as a parent is just to guide them, really guide them, just try to give them the best advice you can. But sometimes just the best thing you can do for them is just let them make that mistake, or let them just give them that freedom to make a mistake. And a lot of times, I mean, we're smart. We are smart children. I mean, we're very smart. We'll figure that out ourselves. I mean, we obviously are going to have our parents there to guide us. That whoever it is, someone you should hopefully have someone there to guide you. But I mean, learn from making mistakes. So
Absolutely. Billy, you want to chime in on that, or you just want me to go on to the next one?
Nah, you go to the next one because I know they, you know, got
All
to end
right.
soon,
Yeah.
so we go.
You fellas, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to look at, okay, Cole, you look at Bryce. Bryce, you look at Judah, and Judah, you look at Cole. And tell me what you love about that man. See, this is about building up and positivity. So yeah. We're gonna share some real emotions. Real men can talk about some emotions, man.
hey, I can start this off.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, Bryce, just as long as I've known you, one thing I've always loved about you was your confidence. Your confidence is something I've always admired. Always admired how you don't really care where you are. Just you're always gonna be yourself. You've just never been a person who's gonna change for others. You've just always been Bryce Council, and that's one thing that I respect. And it's just I really truly do respect, because there's not a lot of people like that. We're just gonna be real.
That's awesome. I salute that. Go ahead, Bryce. What do you think about Judah?
Judah. Oh man, just the person you are, man. You motivate me. You know, you motivate me every day. Just the different conversations we have. I learn a lot from you in terms of just, you know, your experiences. And I think you just taught me a lot from your mannerisms, the things you do, like everything. So, man, I just appreciate you being you, and the person you are, and especially the family you come from. You know, just, you know, I make sure I pray every day, because I remember we were younger, you used to always tell me, make sure you praying. I'm praying. So stuff, just the little things like that, man. Really appreciate it. True.
Judah, what about Cole?
That's Coach Mack in me, of course. So, respectfully, not realistically, I always admire the ultimate competitor you are. You know, like whether it's playing on the mini hoop, us kicking a soccer ball around, us actually playing basketball, any type of thing with this competition, I've always appreciated, even if it's not in the moment, always appreciated how driven. I guess that's what it is. How your drive, anything I've seen you put your mind to, like even with driving, you know, like you really put your mind to it. And when you first started, it was very shaky, but now we got.
Yeah, I was better than Bryce.
Real.
What'd you say?
I was better than Bryce.
Yeah.
Now we've gotten to the point where, you know, you're a legit driver and stuff. But just going back to, I've always just really admired the drive, and the competitive nature that you have, and loyalty. You've taught me, you've helped. I mean, you and Bryce, honestly, but just the importance of you know, being loyal to those that are loyal to you, and just and like really honing in on that. But yeah.
You know, I could go around the table with you guys. I know you have so much to say positive, and I love to see that family. There was a movie Billy knows about this when we were growing up. It was called The Wood, and it just showed how
We
brothers.
just watched that. We
Me and
Yeah.
Bryce just watched that.
And you guys remind me of that, and I'm so honored to sit down and converse with you guys and chop it up. Billy, I have a question. I'm just gonna let you start it off. If you young brothers want to chime in on it, then you can. Sharon Saunders says, if you could give advice about how communities and churches can promote success among Black males, what advice would you give? Billy, what do you think?
I think one of the things that we can do more in our churches and our community is to uplift each other and do more fellowship with each other. I think it's important that Black men, become leaders again in their communities and become leaders again in their household. Not saying that they're not, right? But I just think we need to emphasize a little bit more on that, on how to become better men, right? And I think that the churches and I just think the community leaders, we need to bring Black men back together to fellowship, and that's something that, Bill, you and I have been doing lately, with our bike rides and stuff, just getting people together to fellowship and just to talk, and then just to have, real conversations. And also, again, platforms like this, when men get up on, when men get together and just have real dialogue, right? An important dialogue about, society, about life, about their families, about, not being afraid. And I think it was interesting how we always say that men are not supposed to be expressive, to one another. And I think what you just, the question that you just asked these young men, is to say something positive about it. That's something that we got to get back to, being positive to one another and not, being negative all the time and, making people feel that they're not worthy. And I just think that was a great question that you asked the young men. And I think the young men, stood strong and, told their emotions, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's what Billy, you and I are about. That's why you're my brother, because you know what I'm saying. We're about positivity. Let me tell you something. We can hear all the negativity that's going on in the world, but right now, this segment was about 3 positive young brothers that are doing the damn thing, and I am so proud to know that I've met you, I converse with you, and I will extend this out here to the world, so the world can hold me accountable. If you ever need another person to ask their opinion with, I am here for you, and I will extend that courtesy as an OG, and I say that. But I'm going to ask you guys a question, you young brothers a question, especially because you're all college individuals. So Sharon asks another question. She says, "What are some ways that schools can prepare Black males for college and different careers that they are interested in?" I'll start with you, Judah, and then I'll go Cole, and I'll go Bryce.
I think the most important thing is getting a visual. Going back to what Bryce was talking about when he was saying about being able to see different, like people coming to us up. He's been able to see different experiences, and I think in our schools, specifically in our high schools, we don't see investment bankers coming in. We don't see hedge fund managers coming in. We don't see we always hear about like the athletes and the rappers and people that are in pop culture, but just seeing people that are the everyday workers that are doing. There are jobs in sports that doesn't have to do with necessarily being an athlete. There are jobs in entertainment that doesn't necessarily have to be being the rapper or the artist. I think it's so important that if you're able to see it and you're able to talk to somebody who's in that field, I think it makes that much of a difference. At least for me, that was my high school experience, and I think it worked out great. But yeah, that's my take.
Go ahead, Cole.
1 sec, my fault. Phone was acting up. Can you? What was the question again?
About that's a good question. The question was, Sharon asked. She said, "What are some of the ways that a school can prepare Black males for college and different careers that they are interested in?" Because you're all college guys right now, so that's why I was saying that.
I think one thing schools can do is really try to. I think you get a lot of kids. I know for me personally, I went to a school where it was a majority white. I know Judah went to school with majority white kids. The Black kid was the minority at the school. And I think one thing at schools like that, because that's where I can just, I think one thing they can do is, I mean, one, obviously getting more black teachers just to get people that can relate to us. I mean, it's just, you get a lot of these teachers who can't really relate to us, never been in our shoes, think everything's like, think it's the same for us as it is for everyone else. In reality, it's not. We have to work 2 times as hard, 2 times more difficult to do everything. I mean, us going out there and getting that same grade as that kid next to us isn't good enough. We gotta get that and more. So just really just getting people around kids like us, just who have been in our shoes and can really like preach and talk to us.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Bryce?
Kind of piggybacking off what Judah said. Correct me if I'm wrong, Judah. Y'all used to have at Dwight, y'all used to have like somebody come in like every week, right? Or every 2 weeks to come talk to y'all?
My junior and senior year, they would have, not every week, but they would have like every month, like once a month or something like around once a month, something like that. Somebody come in, or a group of people rather come in and talk to us. Specifically my senior year, they had a whole bunch of different, career fairs type thing, but it was more hands-on. But yeah.
Yeah, so basically, I think things like that are great. Just firsthand seeing something, talking to somebody, because you never know what you're interested in until it's put in front of you. So it's some things that people like don't even know about. That like somebody might be like, when I was at school, I remember somebody coming in and they were into like sneaker, like he was a sneaker designer for Nike. And it was like, that's something that you don't really even think about, honestly. So, like, I don't really like art or anything. I can't draw to save my life. But it's a couple kids who I remember, like, really got his contact and started, like, reaching out to him and helping him, like, different designs and stuff like that. And, like, now he's going to school for designing and doing stuff like that. So I think just getting an example and talking to different people, I think schools and teachers, like, introducing people and finding some type of like introductory thing, whether it's once a month or like a couple times throughout the year, just introducing different people that can change a person's life.
That's awesome. I'm not gonna hold you guys too much longer. Like and foremost, I appreciate you all. I just want to read some things. Pat again said, embracing the youth is whatever was possible. Confidence is key. Prayer and motivation get you through each and every day. Shout out to Andre Richardson. Andre Richardson, and I'm gonna bring this to Cole, and I'm gonna let y'all get a laugh after this. Andre Richardson is my childhood friend, but he is my first martial arts teacher. I've been involved in like 5 disciplines. I've been in the martial arts now for over 30 some years. I've taught it at Harlem Children's Zone and personal instruction and things of that magnitude. Andre Richardson is a world champion. He has 5 to 6 Hall of Fames. To his credit, he just got inducted with Chuck Norris in the Hall of Fame. So shout out to Andre Richardson. Andre thinks he says he met you, Billy, from somewhere, probably involved in school and stuff like that. Now this segues to me to you, Cole. I remember when I was watching that documentary, you was talking about you had a little temper and Billy had to get into your derriere a lot because you couldn't control your temper. You haven't got kicked out of games since then, hopefully?
Man, I ain't get a single tech this year in college. Not even a tech. I probably deserve more than a few, but I ain't get them. So progress.
And that's a beautiful thing, because let me tell you something. I always say that martial arts, my mother told me that I got into, when I embarked on this community activist role and things of that magnitude. I'll just give you a brief story. I saw a man getting beat by some white men, and I was with my mother. We were going out on a little son-mother date, and I saw a derelict getting beat by some men because he was panhandling. Let me just tell a story. He was panhandling, and he went into the store, and he must have asked them for some money or some food, and they didn't like whatever they said, something disrespectful. He came out, and near the tree well, he picked up a brick, and he threw the brick through the window. He ran from them, and they chased him. And in lieu of chasing him, one guy had a bat, and they were big, stocky dudes, and he was a skinny man, maybe even malnourished or maybe just in stature. And when they caught up to him, they hit him with the bat. And when they hit him with the bat, you know, they hit him and they mobilized him, and I saw it, and I was like, okay. And I'm with my mother, and we're walking, and we're both looking at this, and I saw him hit him with the bat, and he went down, and he hit with the bat again, and okay, I'm like, all right, like I understand you got you running, but then he kept hitting with the bat. And what I saw after that, I didn't see a person hitting somebody because he did something to him. I saw a person hitting somebody because of his color. And I got involved in it, right? And my mother damn near almost caught a heart attack, and she was like, yo, what are you gonna do? And you're not gonna live. She said, Billy, you can't get involved in everything. You can't, you know, I don't know what's wrong with you, your temper, this and that. And she said, you're not gonna live to be 25. So I tell that story that, like, I needed the martial arts at the time, and thank God that I grew up with somebody that was a martial artist. So Andre, you know, I always tell him that story. I appreciate that, and I'm thankful that, you know, Cole, whatever you've done in your life, you've channeled your anger, and Judah and Bryce and whomever, Billy, all of us, we all need a reality check sometime that humbles us, that makes us think about what we're doing. Now, this segues. I'm going to segue this question to all of you. But Cole, you are the topic right now, because I have a few minutes before we go on that. Now, gentlemen, Cole is a future lottery pick, draft pick this year. We are all happy and excited for that. What do you think about that, first and foremost? I'll start with you, Bryce. I'll go with you, Judah. Then I'll end up with you, Billy. And then, Cole, you can just comment on whatever they said. But how do you feel that your best friend, your brother, do you feel that you've helped him along this path, this journey? Like, I know this is going to be a feeling whenever he gets drafted by whoever he gets drafted by. Cole, I said New York. Billy told me don't do that to you. Don't wish that bad luck on you. I'm a New York dude. I'm sorry, but I get it. But fellas, how will you feel? What do you feel about your brother going to get drafted? We want him to be a lottery pick, but the fact that he is destined for the NBA, Cole, we appreciate everything. We know you're going to be great. But I'll start with you, Bryce, and then Judah, and then Billy. What do you think about that? How you feel you've helped him along the way? You've walked this journey with him. Just any words of love that you want to give that young man.
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped. You feel me? I beat an NBA player one-on-one. He can't guard me. You know, like I can say all that. You know, I can. You feel me?
You gonna lie?
It's great. It's great.
You gonna lie?
But no, I'm not talking to you. Relax. So, in all seriousness, I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him. Yeah, I've been a part of the journey. You know, however I can help, I try to help. But I'm really excited for him. Oh, it feels like everybody like that's my best friend, man, about to get drafted. So you know, it feels like I'm going to the league, and so I'm just super excited for him. Wish him nothing but the best. And I'm gonna stay on him, make sure like he's doing the things he got to do, and yeah, I'm super excited for him. He still can't guard me though, still can't beat me.
Sounds nice.
Cole,
What happened last time we
I'll
played?
let you talk about that later. I'll let you express your
He's scared to play me now, but yeah, that's a whole different
Didn't
conversation.
we just play last week?
No, we didn't.
Didn't I leave you on 0?
Yeah, Cole, you say you get guarded. I'm gonna let you get your card comments. Judah, what do you think about your brother, man, going into the NBA, man?
Nah, it's crazy. The 2K, I don't know if you're like NBA 2K card came out and people were sending it to me. They're like, "Oh, Cole's a 97," and they're using him in a game, and it's just crazy. Like it's crazy because like you know, like we grow up, see him from when he was like super young. It's cool though, you know. I know he's gonna do his thing, and we all know he's gonna do his thing. We're gonna make sure you know we're behind. We don't even have to really push him to want to be better, want to be great. He already has that, but just stay on top of him. To make sure he gets where he needs to get to. But he's gonna do his thing. I'm very excited. Very, very excited. It's up, literally. It's up.
Bill?
Well, for me, I'm really excited for him, You know, again, like everybody knows this is no secret. It's like a son to me, right? We always been together. We're his mom and I are like best friends, brothers and sisters. So to see him going to the NBA is something that he told me when he was in fourth and fifth grade that he was going to the NBA. He worked hard. I'm proud of him. But the thing that I'm more excited to see happen for him is the stuff that he's going to do off the court, right? That's the piece for me that I'm more excited, for him, right? That journey off the court, because I know he's going to be a success. I know,
Hold on,
lottery
one second,
pick.
Dad. 1 sec. Can we get Judah back in? His phone died.
Okay.
He said he's trying to get back in. Sorry about that.
Okay. You got him, Bill? Yeah, so I'm excited for him, and I know he's going to do amazing things. I know he's going to be great. And I'm just looking forward, to the rest of the journey with him. Bill, you got to mute your phone, Bill.
All right, Cole. So what do you think about everything they said, man?
I mean, hey, these my guys right here. I think Bryce is still in a little delusional after I whooped him last week. Whooped him and Judah. I ain't gonna.
You going
I
live?
can't say I'm on anybody. I was whooping him last week.
On camera? You going live?
Put it on God, I'm lying.
You were giving
Last week, you talking about the little rim?
Bill, did you get Judah back in?
Slippery Jim.
I text Malika because she's
We
controlling
didn't
the whole.
play
Okay.
in the Slippery Gym.
We didn't play, Bryce?
No, are you going crazy?
You gonna lie?
Ask Judah.
Bro, we played one-on-one. We played King of the
Now,
Court.
with that being said, hold that thought, fellas, up because that's what's up. That's where we at.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yo, I'm trying to read this thing. Candy asked a question. I lost it. She asked a question, and I want you guys to chime in on it. She said, I think it's her daughter's friends that are in junior high school, and when they take their pictures, they're always posting like they're in gangs and posting gang signs. Like, what do you guys feel about that? I'm sure peer pressure could have consumed you, but it's obviously that it did not. And just maybe let's just talk about that real quick before we segue out. I have one more question I'm gonna give you guys before you leave, parting questions. But just give something about just being. How about this? Give the audience something about being a leader and not a follower. And I'll start with you, Cole, and then I'll go to Bryce, and hopefully we get Judah back.
Well, the main thing for me is just always being yourself. Other people should not influence you. My fault. That was
Oh, yeah,
Danny.
we got him back. Judah, you back, baby.
Other people, you shouldn't allow other people's bad decisions to rub off on you.
Okay.
Sorry, my fault. Danny's texting me, Bryce, but he's here. But yeah, it's like you got to be heavy on just being yourself, knowing what's wrong, what's right. I think most people in their head in some way, shape, or form know the difference between wrong and right. So I think you just got to really just do what's best for you. And if people don't like that, dang, sucks. That's unfortunate. But the people who are smart, they may follow you, and then that's how you become a leader.
Absolutely. Judah, I'm gonna just throw the question out there again. I'll give you a chance to think about it. I'm gonna ask Bryce, and then I'm gonna ask Billy, and then I'll come to you. The question was, Candy asked about. She noticed that in her I think it's her daughter's high school. They're throwing up gangs, junior high school. They're throwing up gang signs, but they're not in gangs. So the question was, what is your advice about how to be a leader and not a follower? So Bryce, go ahead, and then Billy chime in, and then go ahead, Judah.
I think a lot of just touching on that question and what she said real quick. Sometimes they don't even know like what they're throwing up as gang signs. Like sometimes they just see it like on Facebook. Like when I was younger, this was the little thing that everybody did. I don't even know what this means, but like we all did this in the picture, did this, you know. I watched the Tupac movie. I watched one of the movies, start throwing up West Coast. I think it's you know, it's just a misconception, but I think it's important to be a leader and ultimately make your own decisions because you obviously you don't want to be a follower. So I think that being a leader, you know, it's important because ultimately I think the high status of being a leader is creating another leader. So like my dad as the leader of our household created me to be a leader in my household and like vice versa. So I think that's the most important part because ultimately if you're a follower, you're probably going to create, you know, a follower, and that's something you obviously always want better for your kids. So I think that's the most important thing for me in terms of leadership.
That's awesome. Billy, you want Judah to go first or you want
Yeah, let Judah go first. Let Judah.
Okay, go ahead, Judah.
You mute.
Yeah.
You mute, Judah.
You got to unmute.
Can't hear you, Brody.
Got to unmute yourself, doggy. All right, we're going to go. Look, hit that
All right,
button.
we come back to Judah. We come back to Judah.
All right, go ahead, Billy. Judah, hit that button at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead.
I just think it's important, like, you know, like they all said, everyone, you know, learn how, you know, to become a leader and, you know, not a follower. And, you know, again, peer pressure is still, you know, it's still out there, right? So we have to, you know, and instill into our children how important it is to be a leader and not being the follower, because a lot of times we pick up these negative behaviors based on what someone else is doing. So I think it's creating your own lane and staying in your own lane and creating your own narrative.
Absolutely. Judah, you with us yet? Look at that button at the bottom of that screen, bro.
It's over. He's unmuted, and I think something wrong with his laptop.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. You play for the Hunter Hawks, man. Get that thing together, brother. You representing, man. Well, we're going to come back to you. So, fellas, I thank you so much. Judah, we're waiting on you, man. Look at the screen at the bottom, and it should say dial at the bottom of the screen.
You got like dial in using the internet or something?
Yeah, dial in using the internet. You could push in. Don't worry. I'm gonna talk.
Yo, go to the bottom, press more, and then go to connect audio.
There you go. That's your man. Come on, man. You representing Hunter College, man. Get it together. Oh, it's that. All right. Well, anyway,
Yeah,
he's gonna get it together. He's gonna get it together. So
Yeah, it's
anyway,
all good. Next time.
yeah. All right. So, fellas, first and foremost, thank you for being a part of Real Talk Chronicles. It's been an honor and a pleasure for me to, like I said, converse and kick it with you, to talk more about life. But we could talk about how basketball was a common denominator for you guys. It brought you together. I see greatness for all of you guys, Judah, Bryce, Cole. I think you may be more visual for the first part, but maybe these guys may be something. I may see right here a LeBron-esque kind of relationship with you and your brothers. You know what I'm saying? You know, depending on how you guys hold court as entrepreneurs and conglomerates. I think that's going to be awesome. Billy, you can chime in on that if you want to. But the one thing I want you guys to give, I was going to ask you a question. I really want Judah's point. I think I'm going to lighten up the load. What do y'all feel when y'all see an OG wearing his pants hanging off his behind and skinny jeans? You know what I'm saying? Like is he playing himself real? Because, I mean, that's the fad that Billy and I can't rock with. We may get a little jeans, we may get a little narrow leg and skinny jeans, but we're not wearing our pants off our behinds. What do you feel? That's your era, and I'm not knocking you and I'm not telling you what that, but what do you see when you see somebody that has posed to have some kind of tenure on this earth wearing his jeans hanging off his behind?
I think he just looked like a lost cause. Like he just looked like a lost soul. Looked like he's overperformed. Honestly, that to me it was just never cool to me. Like it was just always like a little weird. But but I think that it's a lost cause. You know, that's just somebody I look at and I'd be like, don't be like him. So I think that's the most important thing right there.
Judah, did we get you back? But go ahead, Cole.
You was asking about dudes with the jeans saggy. You talking about old dudes with the jeans saggy?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, me personally, I don't like to see anybody wearing their jeans like that. I just think it's poor representation. But I'm not, who am I to talk about the youth so much? But I just wanted to know what's your take when you see an old dude, somebody like Billy's in my age, wearing his pants hanging off his behind.
Yeah, it's over for him. I don't like that dude. Might have. I see someone like that. I'm thinking, oh man, that dude is. I think Bryce hit it on the nose. Lost cause.
Yeah. I mean, we want Judah back. Billy, go ahead, chime in, Billy. I know you want to say something real quick.
Good thing for me, I got these dudes in my life, man. And, I try to keep up with them fashion-wise. So I will never have to worry about wearing my pants halfway down, man. They gonna keep me fresh. They gonna keep me fly, so I'm just blessed that, they gonna keep my fashion right. So I'm gonna be able to move in the room with them at times.
All right. So Cole, Bryce, I would love for Judah to say something. Billy, I'm going to let you have the parting last word on this. But gentlemen, I appreciate you. I extend the olive branch to you. If I can ever be in there for you for anything, please feel free to get my number from Billy. I will be there for you because I am so honored to have this conversation with you. I hope our relationship grows and blossoms into just a friend, or OG, or uncle, whatever I can be to you in your life and your travels. I think you are the epitome of success of what we need as young Black men today, and I salute you both. With that being said, please give us some parting words for the youth out there that are listening, that parents that will share this with their youth or their grandkids or their nephews or their nieces. Give something parting and positive for the young youth. Cole, I'll start with you, Bryce, and then I'll end with you, Billy, because Judah's not here. Go ahead, Cole.
My message to the youth is just to really, at the end of the day, be yourself. Don't let other people influence your decisions in life. And just really to focus on yourself and just do what's best for you at the end of the day. I mean, you have the people around you you're going to have around you, but at the end of the day, you are your own person, make your own decisions, and do them confidently.
Mm-hmm. Judah.
I came down because my laptop was having some difficulty. What was the question? I can speak to the other question.
Judah, you can say two questions. You got two answers for us. You can answer the first question, and then you can talk about this answer that I just asked. So go ahead, brother.
So in brief, the question was, how do you not fall into peer pressure? Something like that, right?
It was about the pants sagging. What you think when you see an old head with the pants sagging?
Pants sagging. When did that question go? Anyway.
Yo, bro.
The last question is what's some like parting words for the youth? Like, what's your last couple words you gotta say to the youth? Anybody watching?
Be yourself, like Cole said. Be yourself. Have confidence in you, whatever that is. Like don't fall into the trends. Trends come and go. So don't fall into the trends, whatever that is. Stay ahead of the curve and keep. I can't push it enough. Like whatever form of education you drive with, find it and educate yourself. That's what we're lacking most in America on all accords. But just be yourself, stay confident who you are, educate yourself. That's
what's up. Bryce?
For me, always believe in yourself, man. Trust the process. It's a marathon. And last but not least, man, count yourself in. Heavy on that.
Count yourself in.
Heavy on that. Count yourself in.
What's up. Brother Billy, my main man, my family, man.
So I just want to say, again, Bill, thank you for, allowing us to, spend some time with you and the folks today. I think, Cole, Bryce, and Judah for taking the time out of their busy schedule to chop it up with us. I really appreciate it. One of the things I just want to just say is just keep being motivated, keep believing in yourself, count yourself in all the time, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
Billy.
you can make something out of nothing, right? That's
Okay,
a
Billy.
that's a plug. That's
Yeah,
the plug.
baby.
That's the plug.
You know what I mean? And look, we can start right here. All the old heads, OGs on here. Support Black-owned businesses at CYSoon.com. CYSoon the brand.
Get your merch.
Get your
Oh,
merch.
well,
Count
that's right.
yourself in.
Bryce, tell us about your business before you go out, man.
It's just for like exactly what we just talked about. Count yourself in and make something out of nothing. Just believing in yourself all the time, man, and overcoming all obstacles, man. We're gonna beat the odds and then show you what getting even is. Facts. Count yourself
Where can
in.
people purchase your product, man? Where can people purchase your product? Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hold on. Do I need to show mine too?
Oh yeah, Billy.
What's that say?
I believe.
Oh, count yourself in, Mr. Anthony.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mr. Harlem.
Hey,
Yo, Bryce, where can we get the product at? Tell people how they can purchase the product.
at CYSoon.com. Our new website is launching tonight, 12 o'clock. CYSoon.com. Get your merch.
Wait,
Brand new
it's dropping
website
tonight?
Dropping,
It's tonight.
dropping 12
Whoa,
a.m.
I'm about to tune in. Whoa.
So everybody, CYSoon.com, at CYSoon, the brand on Instagram. And look, the whole team got something coming soon, man. So everybody stay tuned. Happy
Facts.
days, Philly,
Facts.
real FS.
That's entrepreneurship. That's entrepreneurship.
Hey, Cole, for people who don't know, let them know when when is the NBA draft?
October 16th. Stay tuned.
Hey, a lot of big
Soon.
things coming soon, man.
Cole, you got a preference you want to go to? I know you probably just want to you're blessed to be drafted, but you got a preference, bro?
Just blessed to be drafted anywhere. That's my only goal.
That's it. Yo, fellas, I hope you enjoyed conversing with me, kicking it with me, man, as much as I've enjoyed talking to you, man.
Yes, sir.
I think you guys are awesome. I can't wait to see you at the next bike ride. Yo, listen, Cole, Billy, get these guys off that city joint, man. Yo, y'all been struggling with that, man. Come on, man.
We was in the front.
We was good.
Yo, Bryce,
We was
the first
good.
time we was riding together, you was zooming up the West Side Highway. Now you was in the city joint. Yeah, I was like, come on, man.
Hey, Bill, wasn't you that dude who passed out and was on the floor almost dead?
No, that's Terrence, man. That was Terrence, man. That was Terrence. Shout out to Terrence.
Yo, Cole, we got beef for now. We got beef now, Cole.
Yo, listen,
though.
Appreciate y'all. Everybody stay tuned. Shout out to Moving Pictures. He's on here too.
Shout out
We got
our guy
something
Hector,
coming this
best
week.
photographer in the game.
Moving
We got
Pictures.
something coming this week for everybody. Stay tuned.
Yo,
Yes,
Moving
sir.
Pictures. Shout
All
out
right,
to y'all on
guys.
Instagram. He was following. Yo, respect. Real Talk Chronicles. I appreciate you guys, man. Billy, I love you, man. Get
Love
these
you.
fellas, yo. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Wakanda
We talked a little
forever.
bit.
Happy days.
All right.
Happy days. Time
Oh, wait a
soon.
minute. Before we go, everybody out there, the fellas can leave, but before we go, tomorrow we got Kevin Branzetti coming in. We're going to be talking about just law enforcement stuff. That's going to be an interesting conversation. We're going to be chopping it up real hard about that on law enforcement. So please tune into my man Kevin Branzetti. He's going to be in with me. And Wednesday, we will be doing the Blue Nile, another segment in this youth and mentoring. I'm giving the whole segment on Wednesday to the Blue Nile as part of a mentoring program I'm affiliated with. Cliff Simmons and the Blue Nile family will be in here Wednesday. Tomorrow, Kevin Branzetti and I will be talking law enforcement, reform, Antifa, Portland. Shall they bring in the National Guards and all these other things? Let me tell you something. Police brutality is still a big issue. Kevin and I will chop it up. Listen, Real Talk Chronicles. Also, Wednesday, the Blue Nile. We are in here, baby. Thank you, Cole, Judah, Bryce, my co-host, Billy Council, the coach. I love you, bro. Real Talk Chronicles on behalf of my wife, Malika Foster. You are the best, sweetie. This is Real Talk Chronicles. We'll talk to you later, y'all. See you in a minute.